Welcome to the Wednesday edition of FreightWaves Now. I'm Emily Zink. John Kingston is in monitoring the oil situation in Saudi Arabia, and also we're talking reefer out in Washington State.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of FreightWaves Weather. I'm FreightWaves Meteorologist Nick Austin. The big story as far as the weather in the United States today, the lower 48 states, is across southeast Texas. Tropical depression Imelda. It was a tropical storm for just a few hours yesterday, but as far as the winds, as far as the pressure around the center of the storm, starting to get weaker, but it's still producing a lot of heavy rainfall. So it's back to a tropical depression. It's moving through southeast Texas. Here is Houston metro area right around here, and then down towards the coast around Galveston. That's where some of the heaviest rain has been, just south of Houston, down to the coast into Galveston County. Some areas since yesterday have already received anywhere from 8 to almost 11 inches of rainfall. There have been reports of flash flooding. That'll continue to be a problem today as a lot of this heavy rain on kind of the outer bands of the storm on the eastern side of the storm continue to push up through East Texas, up possibly towards areas like Lufkin and Tyler, and across southwestern Louisiana, areas like Lake Charles. All of these spots are under a flash flood watch through the rest of today, tonight, even into part of tomorrow, with several more inches of rain possible. So as far as drivers out there, there will be delays on parts of I-10. Texas Department of Transportation has reported some road closures around the Houston and Galveston areas on some of the interstates due to the flooding. That could continue to be a problem today, so just be ready for those kinds of delays out there, not just from the blinding rain, but from actual road closures and delays in air cargo as well. Not a big problem with the rail so far. I haven't seen any reports yet as of this morning that there are any problems with the major rails as far as freight. BNSF, all the other ones are, at least for now, in good shape. So that's what's happening out in Texas. That'll continue to be a problem for the rest of today, so be careful in that part of the country. Next, we're going to go out to the Atlantic because we have two storms. We've already known about Humberto. It's been out there for a few days or so, and that's getting closer to the island of Bermuda right now. It's going to skirt just to the north and west of Bermuda during the next 24 hours or so. Not going to make a direct hit, so that's good news. But as far as ocean freighters out there, just minor delays. They'll have to steer around this storm, but there will be a lot of high surf, high winds coming to Bermuda during the next 24 hours, so folks there need to watch out for that. The second storm out in the Atlantic, which is just to the south, a bit to the south of Humberto, is a new tropical storm which is named Jerry, and this one could make a direct hit in at least part of the Bahamas, the southeastern Bahamas, as we head into the late part of the weekend. That's what one or two computer models are saying right now, but the vast majority of the computer models have it moving north of the Bahamas. Still a long way out, so we have to just keep watching this one every day. As we know with tropical systems, they are always developing stories. So just stay with FreightWaves on our website as well as all of our social media, and we'll keep updating everybody on these tropical systems. That's what you need to know about your weather here for your Wednesday. Have a terrific day and be careful out there.
Welcome to your Wednesday Carrier Update, sponsored by AT&T Business. My name is Kyle Cunningham. Today we're going to talk about what's going on out west. First off, Spokane, Washington, an exciting market. This white line here, your reefer outbound tender rejects at 41.8%. That's almost 4 out of 10 tenders being rejected in that area. What's the reasoning? You've got hops, you've got apples, you've got potatoes. Even your van tender rejects are at 16.5%. So optionality all around the board, all across the entire market of Spokane. Tender lead time, 2.86 days. That's how freight's covering. And you got an outbound tender volume above your inbound volume. Let's take a look at a map, see what's going on in this general area. You can see here's Spokane, here's Twin Falls, and here's Pendleton. These blue zones, a lot of stuff heating up. And we move over to the next chart and we take a look and see exactly what's going on in Twin Falls. Tender lead time in Twin Falls, 3 days out. So take note of that. You've got more outbound volume than inbound. Good options. Taking a look here, your outbound rejects of Twin Falls, 11.2, very favorable to carriers. So any capacity up in the Pacific Northwest, you want to route yourself towards those zones. Let's talk about down south in the Southwest, looking at Phoenix, Arizona. Lead time under 2 days. That's looking real good. As that lead time diminishes, that's more favorable to you, the carrier. Your inbound volume is higher, so there's higher competition in terms of capacity, but in terms of refrigerated freight, you can see here lots of spikes, lots of falls. It's back on the way up. Look for a possible return down about 12% in terms of outbound rejections. As always, make sure you stay tuned to your carrier update every single day.
Good day, I'm John Kingston, and what a difference a day makes. At this time yesterday, I was talking about the loss of Saudi production as a result of the attacks on their facilities and fields over the weekend and how bad it was going to be. And then Saudi Arabia shocked the world yesterday by holding a press conference and saying that they've got about 50% of their production back. Their capacity will be full by the end of December, up to 11 million barrels a day by the end of this month. And the market had already fallen on the news that they were going to come out and say this. So where do we stand at this point? The price of crude is still about $4 above where it was prior to the attack. The commodity price of ultra low sulfur diesel, that actually is now below where it was before the attacks. The attacks were over the weekend, and now it's less than that. So what's that going to mean at the pump? Let's take a look at our chart here. This is the ULSDR.USA graph that you see on Sonar. This is the wholesale price of diesel at what's known in the industry as the rack. You can see where it shot up on Monday. No surprise, given everything that was going on in the market. It started to come down yesterday. I'm assuming it's going to come down even more. Retail prices actually shot up as well, which is sort of interesting because the retailers probably weren't yet seeing the impact of the wholesale prices, but they moved their prices up in anticipation that they would see those prices rise, and also just the general market knowledge that things were going to be tighter. Well, now what's happened, of course, is that the commodity price of ultra low sulfur diesel on the CME is down below where it was at the start of the week. Retail prices were moved up considerably on Monday and probably on Sunday as well. You're going to see those come down a little slower than the wholesale prices. That just is the nature of the retail price. I know it's maddening to anybody driving a truck, anybody filling up their car. I think there's a term in the industry called up like a rocket, down like a feather. I don't know that it's going to come down like a feather, but there's definitely going to be a little bit of period here where the retail prices will still get a bit of an elevated boost from what happened recently. As far as the future, there's a lot of cynicism out there about the Saudi statements. The Saudis can meet all their contractual obligations, but a lot of it can be from stocks. A lot of people are really questioning whether the repairs at the big facility that was hit can get taken care of that quickly. Some of the equipment that was damaged is highly complex. So as I said, there's a lot of cynicism out there. If in fact this becomes a market where the Saudis are supplying out of inventories, if that goes on for a significant amount of time, there will be markers in the market, spreads, intermarket relationships that will tell you that inventories are getting very, very tight. So we're going to have to let that play out for a while. Certainly the immediate crisis is over, but it doesn't take away from the long-term fact that the Saudi industry, one of the most important in the world, concentrated in a relatively small amount of space, showed itself to be extremely vulnerable over the weekend. There's a lot of geopolitics that are going to occur out of that. We're not going to talk about that now, but from the oil perspective, this is probably going to add a few dollars, maybe permanently, to what I would refer to as a risk premium. For FreightWaves Now, I'm John Kingston.
Of course, you're watching on YouTube, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe. Follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. We hope you have a great Wednesday.